Look, you aren't actually a business owner. The reality is, you're just a high-paid employee in a company you can never quit. If you stop working today, your income hits zero tomorrow. That's not freedom. It's a trap. I see this pattern repeat constantly with the most talented professionals and entrepreneurs I work with. You hit that $250,000, or even that $500,000 annual revenue mark, and you think you finally made it. But then, the reality sets in. You are the ultimate bottleneck. Every strategic decision, every high-level client interaction, and every operational fire requires your direct brainpower. You see? This is what I call the founder's paradox. See, in most industries, success is supposed to buy you leverage. But for the solo entrepreneur or the small agency owner, success actually punishes you. The more you grow, the more the business demands your time, leaving you with a 70-hour work week and zero exit strategy. You've built a cage made of gold. But make no mistake, it is still a cage. If you cannot step away from your desk for 30 days and see your revenue increase in your absence, well, you don't own an asset. You own a high-stress job with a very demanding boss. Yourself. Today, I'm going to show you the only way out. It's a framework I call the Ghost Founder Strategy. Now, this isn't about traditional delegation or simply hiring a virtual assistant to check your emails. This is a fundamental shift in wealth management and business scaling. We are moving you from being the engine of the company to being the architect of it. I'm going to show you how to hire specifically for profit growth, rather than just offloading tasks. By the end of this video, you will have the exact blueprint to replace yourself in the day-to-day operations, while potentially tripling your net profit. I'm going to teach you how to stop being the most important person in the room so you can finally become the wealthiest. Let's analyze the trap so I can show you how to break it. To really understand the Ghost Founder Strategy, you need to stop thinking about hiring as an expense and start seeing it as arbitrage. Look, most entrepreneurs hire because they're overwhelmed. You know? They just want to buy back their time. But a wealth architect, they hire to buy growth. This shift from task-based hiring to outcome-based arbitrage is exactly what separates a struggling freelancer from a true business owner. Now, I want you to look at step 1, the 80-20 audit. I need you to sit down and actually analyze your last 90 days of revenue. If you look closely at the data, you'll find that 80% of your results are driven by just 20% of your activities. Usually, well, these are the high-leverage tasks like closing deals, optimizing ad spend, or product development. Everything else, it's just noise. Your goal isn't to find someone to help you with the noise. It's to find someone to own the lever that generates the 80%. Once I identify that lever, I apply step 2, replacement ROI. This is where the math becomes undeniable. Most people see a $3,000 a month salary as a cost they have to afford, right? I see it as a capital investment. For a ghost founder hire to make sense, we follow the 3-to-1 ratio. If I pay a specialist $3,000 a month, I don't just want them to take tasks off my plate. Firm, I require them to generate at least $9,000 in new value for the business. If they are a sales setter, they need to book enough meetings to close $9,000 in profit. If they are an operations lead, well, they need to save $9,000 in efficiency leaks or churn.
When you hit that 3-to-1 ratio, your hire is no longer an expense. It's an asset that pays you $6,000 a month just to exist. You aren't spending $3,000. You are buying a $6,000 monthly dividend. This is how you scale a business without thinning your margins or depleting your personal bank account. If the math doesn't show a clear path to that 3-to-1 return, you aren't ready to hire, or you're hiring for the wrong role. But look, understanding the math is only the foundation. Even if the numbers look perfect on a spreadsheet, there is a specific way you have to structure these roles so they don't collapse the moment you stop looking at them. In fact, if you get the next part wrong, you might find yourself managing a team that costs you more time than they save. You need to know the exact ghost infrastructure to keep the profit flowing, even while you're offline. Look, to scale a business that doesn't actually own your soul, you have to implement what I call the ghost standard. This begins with step 3, the 14-day SOP. You see, most founders think they have systems, but what they actually have are just suggestions. A true ghost standard means I can go completely dark for 336 hours, exactly 14 days, without a single text, Slack message, or emergency email. If you leave for 2 weeks and the business stalls, or a client leaves, or a fire goes unextinguished, you have to resist the urge to blame your team. In this framework, the person is never the failure. The system is the failure. If a task requires your specific intuition to be completed, you haven't built a business, you've built a high-paying job for yourself. You must document every decision-making tree so clearly that a competent stranger could step in and maintain that 20% margin you've worked so hard to establish. Once the system is unshakable, we move to step 4, incentive alignment. This is where you stop being a boss and start being a partner, right? The traditional model of paying $25 or $50 an hour is a relic of the industrial age, and frankly, it actually incentivizes your team to work slower. I want you to shift from paying for hours to paying for impact. I use a compensation structure built on a base plus promotion. We provide a competitive base.
When you align their bank account with your growth metrics, you stop spending your energy on management and motivation. The math does the motivating for you, you know? They are no longer just checking boxes. They are looking for ways to optimize the bottom line because they have real skin in the game. You've successfully transitioned them from a worker to a profit partner.
But even with a 14-day system and a profit-sharing partner in place, there is one hidden CEO trap that can still bankrupt the entire operation in less than a month. It's the one thing even the most seasoned investors miss when they start delegating their authority. And if you don't secure this final pillar, I'm telling you, your ghost strategy will turn into a very real nightmare. Let's run the simulation. If I help you successfully install just 2 ghost founders, one dedicated to sales and one dedicated to operations, your entire reality changes. You have officially transitioned from being a manager to being a wealth architect. I want you to really look at the math here, because this is where the compounding effect becomes undeniable. Instead of trying to squeeze 40 hours of productivity out of your own limited energy, you are now managing the output of 160 hours of elite specialist talent. You have effectively quadrupled your operational capacity while reducing your personal workload to 0. In this architecture, you aren't just paying for tasks, you are buying back your life. Most entrepreneurs stay small because they are addicted to the operator high, the feeling of being needed. But as an architect, I need you to focus on leverage.
You are moving from a 1-to-1 input-output ratio to a 1-to-4 leverage ratio. But you see, this creates a new challenge that most people simply aren't prepared for. Now that you have your 40 hours back, what do you actually do with them? The average person uses that time to relax or drift. The wealth architect uses it to build the next ghost pillar or to acquire a new cash-flowing asset to fuel the machine further. You are finally working on the business, not in it. However, there is a catch. Having all this free time creates a strategic vacuum. And if you don't know how to fill that vacuum, you will inadvertently sabotage the very systems you just built. There is one specific founder habit that can turn your high-performing team back into a group of confused employees in less than a week. And it's the one thing we need to eliminate before you step back. That habit, well, it's what I call the hero complex. It's that internal urge, to jump back into the trenches the second a minor fire breaks out, simply because you think you can fix it faster than your team can. But here is the reality. Every time you step in to save the day, you are actually sabotaging your machine. You are teaching your team that their accountability has a safety net. And in doing so, you turn your high performers back into dependent employees. To be a true ghost founder, I need you to realize that your ultimate exit strategy isn't necessarily selling the company for a seven-figure check. It's the exit from the daily operation. You see, true wealth management isn't about having a job you love. It's about owning a system that doesn't need you to exist. Let's recap the 4-step ghost founder strategy we've built today. First, you identified the high leverage outcome, not just the task. Second, you documented the process to ensure the result is repeatable without your intuition. Third, you hired a specialist who was incentivized by profit, not just a paycheck. And fourth, you transitioned to managing through metrics, not micromanagement.
Now, the math here is simple, but honestly, it is life-changing. I want you to calculate your replacement ROI today. If you pay a specialist $4,000 a month to manage a system that generates $20,000 in profit, you haven't just spent money. You've achieved a 400% return on your capital while buying back 160 hours of your life every single month. That right there is how you scale. Your homework is simple. Audit your calendar and find the most profitable task you currently perform. And then, stop doing it. Build the process, hire the ghost founder to run it, and measure the ROI of your new freedom. Don't build a cage, build a machine. If you're ready to stop trading your time for a salary and start building systems that compound, subscribe to Wealth Architects. Let's scale your capital and your freedom together.